This is Bob Andelman, and you're listening to and hopefully watching the Mr. Media interview with Guy Kawasaki, whose latest book is Enchantment, The Art of Changing Hearts, Minds, and Actions. And Guy, so you've had 15 minutes with me now. What's it going to take to make Mr. Media a more enchanting mofo on the interwebs? Can it be done?
Well, that implies you need any improvement at all.
Oh, jeez. Oh, my God. I wish my wife was standing over my shoulder, rolling
Yeah.
her eyes, because it would be more apparent, I think.
What is that thing standing over your shoulder?
Oh, over here?
Yeah.
Oh, that's Space Ghost.
Oh, oh, I see. Yeah. You're not wearing anything around your ankle, are you?
You mean a monitoring bracelet?
Yeah.
Lindsay Lohan style? No,
Yeah.
no.
Okay. Just checking.
Do you
Just
think it would
checking.
help?
Well, you never know. New kinds of jewelry. So, the pillars of enchantment, if you will, are likability, trustworthiness, and quality. So if you want to be more enchanting, you have to increase your likability, trustworthiness, and quality. So likability is all about your smile, your handshake, your dress. So I think you got that. Your trustworthiness, from what I can gather, you're trustworthy. So. And your quality, you have good interviewees like me, yeah, you got quality. So I think you're there, man. I mean, rest on your laurels for a second.
All right, I guess I set it up and you knocked it out of the park. Or if I could make the hockey remark, I guess you put it in the net.
Yeah, yeah.
Got to play to the audience you're given, right?
That's right.
All right, well, let me ask you this. So we were talking more seriously in the first half about enchantment. And, since it seems like when talking to you, everything always comes around full circle to Apple, how has Apple maintained its ability to enchant for so long? 'Cause, I mean, let's face
Yeah.
it, it's not common for a company to enchant that
No.
much that long.
Well, the key to Apple, the essence of Apple is, of course, Steve Jobs. And he's just, a force that is beyond description. And so one of the dangers of using Apple as an example for your life or for your business or for your book is that there is only one Apple. And Apple just defies everything. For example, everybody's telling the world you need to be open and transparent and engaged and social and all this kind of stuff, right? Let's think of a company that just personifies the total opposite of that. Totally opaque, doesn't engage, not transparent. Apple!
I saw that one
So,
coming.
right. So you'd say, okay, so I want to be successful like Apple, so I will sue people who blog about us. I will, not tell anybody anything till the last minute. I will have a process that takes between 4 to 6 weeks to get your app through the store. And you would definitely probably not succeed. So the danger with Apple is, Apple is a different operating system. It has an awesome CEO that can defy gravity, that has a different operating system than mere mortals. So there are lessons to learn from Apple, but don't go into Apple emulation mode because the likelihood is that it'll kill you.
Well, okay, now I don't know if I would have put it that way because the next thing I wanted to ask you, unfortunately,
Yeah.
does Apple's enchantment disappear if something happens to Steve?
That is to be determined. One could make the case that, yes, Steve is the magic. You could also make the case, however, that he has injected so much DNA into that company that the DNA will live on forever. And, I think Disneyland is just as good and Disney World is just as good and Walt Disney isn't around there anymore.
What?
And yeah, I hate
Oh,
to
come
tell
on, they got him encased in plastic somewhere. He's still
Well,
running things with his Futurama mind.
he's not making decisions that I know of. So, and I don't think anybody knows. It's not obvious who takes over Apple if Steve leaves or when he leaves or whatever happens. And I think it's very interesting that when they come and they have a big controversy like iPhone tracking your geolocation, Steve has to explain it, right? And when they introduce iCloud, Steve has to explain it. It's going to be a test of, well, who else can explain it? But having said that, I'll give you a totally unscientific, perhaps irrational argument. As an Apple former employee, as an Apple customer, as a, arguably I was a pope in the Macintosh religion.
I think that's true.
I would say that I believe in God, and one of the reasons why I believe in God is that there is no other explanation for Apple's continued survival than the existence of a benevolent God.
Mm.
So, Apple customers are not atheists. So, God will look out for Apple and it'll go on.
I think I heard this morning when I was walking the dogs. I was listening to the 1 minute from Tech. Oh God, I can't even think of what it's called now. But anyway, online the 1 minute tech update headlines that Apple is now worth the equivalent of Microsoft, HP, and Dell combined. I mean,
Really?
did you ever
Really?
think that would? Yeah, that's what they said. The market cap is
Wow.
it's phenomenal. It's
I
absolutely
am so I am so stupid. I worked at Apple twice. If I had stayed either time, not even from the first time, even if I had stayed from the second time, I would have made so much money. But no, I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I didn't want to be a Fortune 500 wage slave. I should have just sucked it up and shut up and, put my time in and man,
And look at all you've done for them since. I mean, it's
I haven't done anything for them
Oh,
since.
I don't think that's true.
Like
Seriously.
what do you think I've done for Apple recently?
You still you're seen as associated with them. I mean, I said that kiddingly in the introduction, but I think people associate you with the brand even this many years apart, even though you're not on the payroll. You're still a guy who says good things about them. You kind of, I don't know. Maybe it's just my perception, but I think that you continue to be very good for the Apple brand, even though you're not with Apple.
I don't think they think so, but
Well, some places don't always know what's good for them. When it's good for
yeah,
them.
well,
Well, let's do a little gadget chat, and
okay.
from this we'll probably move away from Apple, but um, the iPad 2, it's out
Yes.
there. Is it everything it can be, or do you look at it and go, here's some things that I would put on iPad
Oh,
3?
absolutely, I would change some things in the iPad 3. First of all, I think that not having an SD card reader built in is just insane. I have a MacBook Pro, and that's one of the most useful things that, I don't have to find any doohickeys, no cables, no nothing. I just shove it in the side. So that is an absolute no-brainer. That should be there. Second thing is, I think the equivalent of the Finder in the iPad, it's getting kind of old and tired, right? So before it was cool, and you flip it and you see the icon, you click the icon and all that. But like I have so many apps, I have so many screens, I have so many folders. I need you know how there's preferences in the Finder where you can say, well, you see it with icon and name, you just see it with icon, you just see name. I would like to just list everything with that folder view that has just all the names so that, I don't need to see the big icon anymore. I need a more efficient way I need preferences for the Finder, if you will. I want to have small icons or big icons. I want to have no icons, just text. I think that should be changed. So there are some things like that.
Okay.
But generally speaking, I have an iPhone, iPad, and MacBook, and I use three every day. I probably use the phone the least. I read at least an hour or two every day on the iPad. In fact, I sleep with my iPad. In the middle of the night, I check my email and I check Twitter and Facebook quite often. I don't know, I just wake up and say, oh, let's just
God.
check what's happening.
Oh my God, you're so sad.
I know.
Oh my
I'm
God.
sad. I know. I'm
Oh my God.
pathetic.
Oh my God. Well, do you see any of the tablets that have come out? Any of them? I don't know if you look at them seriously. Any of them seem like they can compete now or in the long run?
I've read some comparisons that some have much better cameras, some have higher screen resolution. I have not played with any of them. I think that 4G should be part of iPad pretty soon. If iPad 3 had 4G with an SD card reader built in, as I said, having more of sort of a customizable Finder, I would be quite happy. But in general, it's completely changed my reading habits. I've read more books because of iPad than any other factor ever. I mean, I used to read, my reading habits were whenever I'd go on a trip, I would take one novel with me. And so on the way out of SFO, I would stop in the bookstore and buy a book every time. And now, if I finish reading a book at 10 p.m., 10:15, I'm reading a new book. And so I'm continuously reading. I read every night now. I never used to do that before. I've read more novels in the past year than ever, and it's because of iPad.
And what online bookstore do you use? Do you use the iBook store, or do you use like the Kindle store?
I use both because they both have different books. So I consume a lot of books, and I never read nonfiction. I only read novels, and I only read the kind of novels. Like my typical novel is retired Navy SEALs, wife and daughter gets killed. The president calls him up and says, the FBI is clueless. The CIA is, just useless these days. I'm creating a special presidential task force. Here's your pardon in advance. You don't have to pay attention to any rules, any due process, anything. Just kill the bad guys. That's my typical book.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. And so, do you think that the Kindle can survive the iPad?
Well, it certainly seems to. I mean, whenever I fly, I see a lot of people reading Kindles. I kind of look at them and say, "Oh, you poor thing." I mean, don't you realize this is not a monochromatic world? But I see a lot of people reading it. It's smaller, it's cheaper. It truly is a dedicated reader, right? Whereas an iPad is sort of for me, it's 90% read, but boy, I do a lot. I use it for email and Twitter and Facebook a lot too. So it's multi-purpose for me.
Okay.
I don't think I could go on a trip with just an iPad because I have to generate too much content. But, knock on wood, the day comes where so many people have bought Enchantment that I don't have to write anymore, then I will travel with just an iPad.
All right. Well, we're trying to do our part to help you sell a few.
I hope so. I have a way to help for you to help me sell more books.
Okay.
Okay, so I have a special promotion going on right now where if you buy a copy of Enchantment anywhere in the world, any form in the world, well, except if you're at an intersection in Mumbai and some kid walks up to you with 75 cents, here's a copy of Enchantment. That doesn't qualify. Okay?
Anything but that.
Yeah, anything but that. I'll give you a free copy of Presentation Zen by Gar Reynolds, which is one of the best books ever written about how to make a great presentation, an enchanting presentation. So you just have to provide me proof of purchase, and then we'll give you a little key to unlock an ebook version of Presentation Zen. Great summer reading deal, right? You get Enchantment and Presentation Zen. You will be a much more enchanting person if you read both books.
There you go, folks. And then last thing, what's next? Do you have another book that you're working on, or there?
I have no books we're working right now. Enchantment came out in the first week of March, so it's April, May, June. It's 3 months ago. So what you just asked me, it's the equivalent of, let's say you go up to a woman with a 3-month-old baby, and you say to her, when are you going to have another baby? And this woman is thinking, I went through 36 hours where my vagina was stretched to the back of my neck, and tore the shred out of my inside. My baby's not sleeping at night, waking up five times a night. My breasts hurt from breastfeeding. And now, Bob, you're coming up to me saying, why don't you have another baby right now?
Oh my God.
That's what you just asked me.
Oh my God. Oh, I think that's his way of saying get out, get out. So folks, listen. You can find Guy Kawasaki's latest book, Enchantment, The Art of Changing Hearts, Minds, and Actions, as well as my previous favorite, Reality Check, in great bookstores everywhere, or you can order them right now at a great price at MrMedia.com. Remember, if you can show him some proof, you can get a copy of Presentation Zen, right?
Yes. Okay. I'll send you a link to the site.
We'll post the link.
Bill. Okay.
That would be great. And, of course, you can find Guy all over the web. Garage Technology Ventures is garage.com, or check out his media headlines engine, alltop.com, which includes Mr. Media Headlines. And, of course, there is good old GuyKawasaki.com. Oh, but wait.
And Twitter.
I'm coming to that, Guy. I'm coming to that. It's a long list with you.
Yeah, it is.
There's his YouTube channel. There's his Twitter page. There's his Facebook page. And Enchantment has its own Facebook page. And, of course, I'll get this in, don't forget his American Express blog at openforum.com. Did I cover all of them?
You did a good job.
All right, all right. Well, Guy Kawasaki, pleasure to have you back. Always,
Thank you.
always a joy, and love to have you back anytime.
Thank you. Take care.
My pleasure. You too. Thanks, Guy.
Bye bye.
Bye, everybody.